Hello and welcome to episode 237 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is April 16th, and together with Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
When I presented at the DSAG Technologydays a few weeks back, I started to talk about Joule and Copilot. While I think this is going to be a really great integration of the UI of AIs, I can see a lot of other activities happening when it comes to SAP and AI. Week by week, our colleague CJ is publishing great articles on LinkedIn about AI and how it can work with SAP, from agentic AI workflows for SAP to leveraging semantic kernel, Azure AI agent, and code interpreter for CFO offices. I'm glad to have him back on our show to talk more about this. Welcome, CJ. Welcome back to our show. Before we dive into your topic, as always, can you quickly introduce yourself? What do you do at Microsoft?
All right, thanks, Holger. Yeah, good. And again, once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So where you will be replaying that our SAP on pod channel. Thank you very much once again. My name is ChanJin Park, aka here in Microsoft CJ. I'm part of the SAP on Azure team here in the Microsoft ASEAN, so helping that our customers, the partners journey along the way of their AI adoption. So I'm glad to back to here once again with the Holger and Gordon to talk about how I bring that another way of the data with the semantic kernel, Azure AI agent with the code interpreter.
Perfect. And I mean, as mentioned in the intro, I really love the work that you're doing. You're really on a track there. You're releasing very regularly on LinkedIn really sophisticated scenarios. I think you're very much engaged with your customers in the Azure area, and I have the feeling that they are really exploring a lot of cutting edge integrations there, and I love the work that you're doing there. So. Yeah, can you show us a little and
Sure.
introduce us to the topic?
All right, I think I do preparing that a couple of slides for today. So let me just bring up to this slide for. Right.
Perfect.
So I think we're trying to. Let me start from here.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last time, Olga, once again, once you and I, so we are talking about something called how we are able to, how we are heading for the something called the agentic AI. So previously, all the things what we've been done, starting from the RPA, like the way how we pulling that the LLM basis API, and then we interpret into the Copilot. So more or less like between that. User to the chatbot or user throughout the single AI agent with the human supervisor. This is what we call the stage of the single AI agent. So the last year episode, right? So we got a chance to quickly go through that Microsoft AI's latest update. So where the Microsoft, so we have been continually updating that Azure AI Foundry SDK along with the agent services. Once you do have the availability, okay, so you have got option. So the choosing of the LLM, so within that the model category, so model category, and then you're actually able to consuming that all the other the Llama, Mistral, the Cohere, all other services as part of the model as a services.
And I think we have over 1,600 or 1,800 of these models already in the model catalog there. So there's a huge, there's a big choice that you can have there.
Yeah, indeed. I think this morning I checked it. I saw that the GPT 4.1 is also available as well. Okay, which is quite amazing. Yeah.
Cool.
So I think the one of the stereo where we have been talking there last time is actually the portion of the extension of ecosystem by the two pillar of knowledge and the action. So hopefully remember that last time when I showed the demo, so within there some of the local data. So I was using the something called the Azure AI search, where we are able to place in our data, and then the triggering that the vector embedding And then the Azure AI is such where you have been either you creating the new services, or you are able to creating your own vector. Then Azure AI agent services, which we are creating here. So actually chart here. So we are able to consuming the data. So this is how we have been actually the show was that last time. So I think the once again after the video was on I think about 3 weeks ago. So I've got a lot of the question from customer, partner. Then the internal colleague, they've been asking, hey, CJ, that was a great video. So I think the way how the customers are right now, the Microsoft customer who running their SAP on Agile, so they are looking at that number one priority is that yes, so we are able to bring the data into their data lake. So mostly in the Fabric, in other areas. So this is one pillar where the SAP on Azure team, so we're providing that various connectors, starting from the table connector and HANA connectors, all other latest update is updating that our product portfolio. So once the data is available in the Fabric, okay, and then they've been asking on the right-hand side I would say the consuming of those data. So Microsoft, now we are offering that our declarative Copilot throughout the M365. Then we also have got Copilot message extension. Okay? We call it the plugin. Then you are able to creating that sort of the function calling. Then you have to consuming that. Now it comes with the Azure AI agent, which is currently available throughout the AI Foundry. And then the one more thing which we are talking about last time is that multi-agent. Okay, so when it comes with that the production level of the customer use cases, so we often see that. So this is where I got a lot of discussion here. Our CFO team here in Microsoft and other customers that. So running that all the financial the data organization, right? So along with the CFO, so there are dedicated teams for managing that expense. So those are managing all the compliances and all the cash flow in the forecasting more and more. So right now, how they work is that throughout that their dedicated SAP flow, so they do creating that their own transaction, and then it's very difficult to passing over those are data to reusing by the compliances and cash flow forecasting as well, although they're using the same data. So this is where so I got the idea of what if so we bring that our multi-agent, so we did the Azure AI agent service where we are able to orchestrating that individual personas, here the expense compliances. So I define that as the expense agent. What if someone is actually orchestrating that individual activity, the based on the way how the transactions work, and then it is really helpful out the CFO office where they're running that some of like a transaction rather than go by that fixed transaction or report. Why not they're running their natural language, okay? And then they are able to get the result. Okay, so this is where my idea came from, the sort of like an extended prototype.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're basically building, or you have built individual agents that take care of a specific task, basically, and being orchestrated by a CFO then in the end. So you have the expense agent, you have the compliance agent, you have the cash flow agent, you have the forecasting agent. Each of them takes care of a specific task, similar like in a company, obviously. And then these agents can interact with each other and then hopefully come to a good decision.
Yes, so this is initially what all the everyone are looking for there. So I think once we know that the classical SAP application, then although the SAP itself so give us a lot of the benefit. However, the way how we actually working is quite complicated. So I think one of the idea I was having that our CFO office, I think roughly. So the way how the SAP we have it right now, okay, let's say. So assuming that the CDS the data, so we actually available within that my Fabric. Okay, so I do have certain data set. so which is replicating from the SAP.
Mm-hmm. And actually that's very fitting because in the past we had quite a few sessions that talked about how to replicate the data in your SAP system using open mirroring into Fabric. So what you have here basically now is already the end result. You have all the relevant data from your SAP system easily accessible in Fabric.
Yeah, so I think that's the better piece. Like let's say the one that the one leg storage. So assuming that all the tables where it's a standard the SAP the CDSPU is actually available with the business data. So where those are data like the billing. Those data is comes with that, sometimes like the 16,000 row, 183 column. This is a huge. However, from the financial, the insight point of view, so I would consider this is a golden data. Okay. So due to that, yeah.
And basically you're already using existing framework to fetch the data and plug into the agent as well, right?
Yes.
So,
okay.
Which makes your life much easier,
Indeed, Gordon. So I think the I mean once again from the very beginning, right? So there are various ways we are able to replicating that data from the SAP application throughout the HANA DB area, the Fabric area. I think all our previous episode we do have a lot of the great story from the Oleg, Asapio. I see that there are a couple of partners. So they have been introducing the how to mirroring that the SAP data into the Fabric. So this is a great part. So my data is assuming that so my data is already available using that partner solution. Then it comes with a very structured way. So I mean, simply is I mean I can't like let them do nothing. This is a golden data. Okay? So I think that one of my idea what I was thinking is that so now this is what the familiar the model of previously we using the enterprise inside, but this is the way how the Fabric so we are able to the consolidating that our data structure with the semantic model. So within that the our interface inside. So which means as you can see that these are table name. So GL amount, line item is a low data, GL account child head, all these actually data which is really they are connected. So which means that from our customer point of view, so they don't have to actually the mapping once again. So whatever things that we do have, or if the customer has got their own way of the semantic model, they can creating that these are data using of the existing those are data. Okay, so this is number one. So I think the previously, right? So I think now I have to talk about a little bit of the latest update. So about 2 weeks back, our Azure AI Foundry team they made a new announcement. Now we are able to bring that integrating the Fabric with the Azure AI agent directly. Okay. So which means that so previously it was called the AI skills. Okay. Now in the Fabric, so we naming as a data agent. So which means that we are actually able to directly integrating that Fabric lakehouse in all the data with the semantic model, including that the Gustav query as well. So we are able to consuming that this Fabric within that throughout the Azure AI agent. Okay, so this is a really benefit what the everyone is waiting there. So how will it look like?
I like it.
Yeah, I also like it very much. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what everyone is waiting. So once you go to the Azure AI Foundry agent playground, so now once we go to knowledge, okay, then you do have options in the Fabric. So I do
that's really cool.
Yeah, I do have some preview access. So once you click the Fabric, so basically I trying to be using that like the my enterprise inside the connectors. Okay, so this is what I'm able to do that. Okay, so once you have this connection, so then you are able to running that data chat within that Azure AI agent throughout that the fabric. Okay, so let's say that I to make that connection. And then now knowledge, right? So here, so you're able to running that the connected. So there are the prerequisite. We have to enabling the data agent from the fabric with the admin authorization. But however, that fabric, I don't have the access. So that's why I only show us that the how this will look like. But probably in the next episode, when I have the access of the fabric, then I'm able to show us that once we do have in a connection with the enterprise inside or the other fabric, which means from this semantic layer. Yeah, so this layer, so we are able to the talking to the throughout the Azure AI agent. So this is what I'll probably come up with once I got the access. So I'll try to show us that how we are able to communicate that, how we are able to directly consuming the semantic model, which is a provision by that the fabric as a data agent. So this is a more or less the great way where you are able to creating that Azure AI agent directly fabric. So in the meantime, so what I've been done, so far I don't have the direct access. So what I've been done, so I'm kind of like the writing that individual, like the functions for the expense, compliances, cash flow, forecasting into the individual function. Then using the semantic kernel, we will do the orchestration. Okay. So what I've been done, so this is how overall solution landscapes which I have been designed there, assuming that later, so we do have the replicated data throughout that Azure Data Factory. So data is landing with that medallion methodology, silver, and a gold. So once the data is available, for my cases, I've got the gold data. And then while I'm waiting for the direct fabric connection, so for this demo, right? So assuming that, so I do kind of like exporting that the CSV the file into the Azure container, and then I'm able to running the demo. Okay, so then once the data is available, so this is so this is how I basically running the pure notebook. So I'm able to downloading that all the file. Okay, which is I think about 148 the CSV file I've been downloading. So now it's available my container. So next thing what I've been done. So this is a beauty of the semantic kernel. So those of the audience, watcher, where they following that the framework. So semantic kernel is the Microsoft fully supported production level of the orchestration tool. Okay. So within the semantic kernel, so currently we're supporting that the various of the supported language. So if I remember correctly, so semantic kernel. Okay. Right now, semantic kernel about weeks ago is finally GA. Okay, semantic kernel version 1.27.1. This is a GA version. So using that semantic kernel, so you're actually able to orchestrating that, automating your business process, and you are also able to extending that modular basis using the plugin. So plugin is that the way connecting your data source into the semantic kernel, and then semantic kernel, so they are able to running that kind of the orchestration. So please taking that this picture, okay, then we'll jumping to the this one, okay. So what have been done? So I do creating that something called the plugin, which is that we call the native code plugin. So I have defined that certain functions which is required by that. These are the forecasting agent, cash flow agent, and expense, compliance is other things which I have defined it earlier. Okay, so this is just a way how you actually triggering that task, okay, for individually, and then behind. So there is a planner, so which means that when the user asking something, okay, then this planner is actually reading that user's prompt and then deciding that. So this user prompt need to be the executed by that forecasting agent, cash flow agent, and expense agent. So this is how this planner is actually routing that user's prompt into that dedicated agent. And then those are the, once this is the routing is done, and the actual work, the reading that from the table, all the everything is actually done by that code interpreter, so which is running within that the Azure AI host agent. Okay. So this is a sort of like, let me go back to the here. So how this code interpreter look like? So this is my Azure AI Foundry. So I will my agent. Okay, so this is all the agent which I creating that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, on the right hand side, yeah, now you can see that. So this is a code interpreter, so which is actually do that all the work, the reading that CSV table, joining, aggregated, whatever things that you require, reduce that big volume of the table. And then once this is done, so then the code interpreter actually executing that my user prompt, which is giving the instruction.
Okay. So when you say, when you read those data and aggregate them, do you present to the bot as a kind of end table, right? So I guess you need to read from different tables, join them in together, or how do you do? So what kind of form on the end the data enters to the bot, to the agent, sorry.
Okay. So this is where it's actually happening that something called plugin. Okay, so this is a way how it has been done by that plugin. Where's my plugin? Okay. So as you can see, right? So this is a way giving that sort of like a. So let me just give you a bit of code. So this is a way the plugin. So actually you have to creating the for me, right? So I actually giving there some kind of like a function. So when those are user prompt, which is a required that grouping, okay, then I give it an instruction. This is how you are able to denormalize the data. So for example, once you have got these table names, so I do expect that you do the normalizing. So simply you read the loader table, and then if there is the existing column, then you do by the grouping, aggregating, the performing the grouping. So this is how major work which is done by the plugin, which is the easiest way would that be you writing the code, and then as the function. So this is one function. So which when the data comes with that, you do the group data by the specify the column with the aggregate value, and then also I giving that the another function, something called like this is the analysis, which is this is actually running that the function, and then yeah.
I've seen there something JSON input. So do you need to work with the tables which you put to the agent, or you can also put the JSON form, for example?
Yeah, I mean we can do. So I think the beauty of the plugin is that. So this is the plugin as the functions, which means you actually instruct to your semantic kernel. Okay, so here. So you give me the instruction for the semantic kernel is a plugin. Once those are user prompt is coming, and then what you have to do. So this is what. Yeah, so this is the way, sort of like the structural way of the instruction. So what the plugin does, okay? When user information is coming, plugin is actually the look for that information. Okay, so by way of how the instruction, and then they calling that the function which have been defined in the plugin, and then it is the reading that those are table which might be grouped by, join, aggregated by that function basis. So this is how it has been actually instructed by that the semantic kernel. So then it is actually using that the reasonable memory, and then they deciding that which function is to go by the which agent. what are the functions they needed, then they come up with the reasoning basis. They do executing that what they're supposed to do. So that's why we call this is the agentic AI, where it comes with that memory. So basically, the semantic kernel agentic AI, it is the memorizing that what I have been giving the instruction, what the previous instruction. And based on the giving the instruction, with this at the semantic kernel basis agent AI is the reasoning, okay? What are the agent which I need to giving that my prompt? So how they combine the join table, which key function need to be running the execute, and then it pass to the code interpreter for the actual execution. So this is how it has been working, the design by the semantic kernel with that agent. So it is complicated. So I had a lot of difficulty understanding. So yeah. So once again, so from the functional point of view, yes, okay. So once you do creating that, so this is how actual the custom function is available as an action. And then this is a code interpreter. So actually do all the calculation, combine things. So then we are able to actually presenting that the output. So way of how it works. Okay. And then those of you who might wonder how the result look like, let's say. Yeah, so I do creating that, let's say that, yeah, so this is all the my individual, the playground, which is, okay, this is the single agent, okay? So you can comparing that, I mean, this agent is only running with a single agent. So once I giving that, let's say that probably.
You are in the background, I'm seeing access to the CSV file, right? Okay, as an input.
So yeah, so this one, I'm not using the semantic kernel. I'm not using the semantic kernel. Okay, so this is a single agent which is available playground. So I'm giving the direct prompt. Okay, so however, so it is giving the same logic how we need to implement throughout the semantic kernel. So let's say if I'm giving the user prompt, and then you will see that. So next script, you will see that the code interpreter. So this is the reasoning. So based on the idea. So this is now you're thinking that, okay, I'm going to read. So now you see that here. So it's actually triggering the code interpreter. And then it is a thinking, reasoning. And then, so it is doing that all the, what do you call, from documentation, looking for the column. And then they look for the column. Okay. And then they are revising the step how to execute. And then now you see the code interpreter. So now code interpreter is actually using that aggregated the avenue throughout the number. And then, so this is how it comes with that. Yeah. So this is the single agent. So which means this is a single agent, which is actually we're talking about. Yeah, here. Okay, so I just show us that one example where the single agent is using it. So this one is purely using the Azure AI agent. Now, what we do, now we have to orchestrating that when those user requests came from the backend. Okay, for example, let's say, so this is a very simple. Yeah, so this is a very simple stream UI. Okay, so once I executing that user command, something like this, and then I want to show you, how the backend is actually running that. Okay, so now I hope you can see that how the flow goes through.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, right? So once I starting the code, so now it is actually calling that Azure hosted agent, which means that the host agent is actually creating that in my Azure AI background. Sorry, the Azure AI agent. Just if I show it to you. So then it's actually invoking that agent here. Okay. So after that, So the sequence is actually calling that the sequence flow, and then it's actually, so this is a system prompt. So this is what you're supposed to do. So this is the functions what you're giving. And after that, so now it comes with that the actual user prompt. Okay, so which product families and the plumbing. So after that, so now the planner. Okay, so how I understand that this question is being defined, success. And after that, so we're calling that those are plugin, okay, which is calling that the functions which have created the 5 function. As you can see, function is again available, invoking test, okay. And after that, so it is reading that actual table from the my blob storage. So C series document item and CSV. So they are reading that these are 5. We did the functions of the multi-table. Okay, now we see the multi-table is using get available table is using. Okay, so after that, so previously I'm running that, so it's using the cache. Okay, cache the data, although ID. And then, yeah, so then it is the finish with that about this time. Okay. So the steps what I showed to you here. Yeah, so once again, I do, yeah, so this is how end-to-end flow is look like for better understanding. So from the user point of view, so I give the user prompt. So then it's actually calling that these are the plan. So I think the beauty is that this is a plugin. Okay. So I think the spelling is incorrect. So thank you for the Copilot. Okay. So the plugin is actually taking the user's request, and then it is calling that the Azure Forecast agent, which is hosting my Azure AI agent. And then these are the code interpreters actually returning the result throughout the UI. And then of course on the left-hand side, all the load data table, return the preview. So this is done by the custom function. And then different angle from the agent point of view. So in the top point of view, so this is a planner, so which is do the auto orchestration. So it is quite of like the complicated. So this is how it has been look like. Okay. So once they're giving that sort of okay, so forecasting the revenue for the next 2 quarters. Yeah. Using the trends from the last 4 quarters. So then, so once they running this flow, okay. So as you can see, so they are able to show that now I haven't properly rendering that the final output. However, so you actually give us that revenue forecast based on the past 4 quarters, which is in that Q2 2022, Q3, blah blah blah. And then average for quarterly growth about 52%. So you're actually able to forecasting that based on the way. So, I mean, this is I was quite wow. This is quite impressive. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. And I like that. I mean, the planner takes care of the whole orchestration basically in the end, calling the different agent and potentially in the future, if you add additional agents with additional skills, with additional plugins. To fetch information, the planner could just leverage these agents as well to get even better insights or to get different perspectives even. Very much like in the real world where a CFO would ask different teams to get different insights. And here with the different agents, with the available skills, we can basically now replicate the whole thing also in an AI world.
Yeah, so true. So I think from the technical point of view, so I think just the capturing there. So this is how it's actually the same thing which I show is a live demo. So I think as you can see, the code interpreter is actually attached to the my Azure AI agent. Okay, so it has been initialized, and then the 5 custom function which is shown to the part of the custom plugin, like the join table, the other 5 functions available. Then agent is actually initiated. Then the plugin is actually invoking the reading data. So this is how executing the table.
Nice.
So yeah, so this is the way. So it's the same way of the sequence. Okay, so you might see that this one is actually same as that what you have been singing in here. Okay, so steps. So this is actually right now the Azure AI agent. This is a managed agent. This is a super powerful. Okay, so behind, although from the agent point of view, you only see this. Okay. Okay, this is a more accurate. Okay, so as you can see from the top point of view. So actually, this is actually same as that what I can show to you. We have to capture that. So it's a way. So which means that code interface is actually working fine. So based on my custom plugin. And then, this is sort of like the low-level text. So this is what we do expecting that as a decision maker, they helping our CFO as the answer, commentary, business impact, recommendation, and then they're able to making their own decision. Okay, nice. So I think so far, I mean, these are the user prompt which I have been asking that in my Microsoft here in Singapore office in a CFO team. So I think. This is what they want to running that continually trying that prompt test like from the forecasting point of view. So this is a very difficult user forecast, but however from the CFO office point of view they needed this. Okay, so what are the expected revenue shortfall, the product segmentation show, and I mean this is captured by the Azure AI agent in a playground. But however, so once we go back to the earlier screen, so our end goal is to actually we're trying to orchestrating that. These are the functions throughout that semantic kernel with that Azure AI agent, which we're running that my task in a backend, and then the code interpreter in the custom function tools actually, so they are able to orchestrate all the tasks. So this is what I have been preparing that, and then. Like what you mentioned that. So far, I only testing that these are two agents here.
Yep.
Okay. And then, like what you mentioned that, so we are able to continuing that, able to all other the agent here, and then the goal of so this is where magic happen. Okay, so which means. This is the planner. Okay, so this is a planner is actually do all the jobs, which means that function calling stepwise planner. So this is a planner deciding that how the routing of the user prompt required to redirect from the direction A, direction B, and then the beauty of the integration is actually this is the plugin which I've been running. This is quite difficult. Due to the huge amount of data. So for this demo, so using the direct CSV. So however, so we can figure out that when the Fabric data agent is available, so I don't need to mapping with that, creating that, those are the kernel function. So hope the way how you're running that is much more smoother than my manual work, what I've been done. Okay.
But I think that's where we see this evolution. I still can remember the first time it was fairly complicated to add additional knowledge like documents or something like that. And now it's a few clicks and you have your SharePoint with all the documents there added as a new knowledge source. And now we're doing the next thing for the Fabric integration. So I can definitely see the benefits and the speed of innovation that is happening there. So this is really, really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I think from the solution architect point of view, I think what we're trying to do, so I think probably need the further testing with that the code interpreter. So this is a beauty of all the transaction from end to end. But right now the way how the semantic kernel work is that, so I need to creating that, I need to do attaching that code interpreter into the agent, okay? And then the Azure AI agent, which is available from here. Yeah, so this is a beauty of all my works, which means code interpreter has been attached, group by, detect anomaly, summarizing table. So this is actually do all the works. However, the code interpreter is quite difficult to controlling, like comparing that Azure AI agent playground, which is managed by the automatically everything. But however, from the semantic kernel point of view, so I have to define that clear instruction of how those are the tasks has been defined, which is defined, and then I have to giving the very clear the native developed the plugin as a code. So this is a functions A, B, C, D. So once the user prompt comes with, so you need to pick up the what are the user's intent. You memorize, you run the reasonable reasoning, and then you trigger that function, which is requiring that to get the answer of the forecasting cash flow. And then behind that, so I think the code interpreter in the custom functions is the beauty of that. So then this is going to be an end-to-end flow, assuming that from our SAP custom on Azure, so you do have the data factory, so you dip the fabric. And then once it's data available into the fabric, part of the one like a storage, and then you do have the full availability. You can still using that something similar with what have been done. But however, so I think once the fabric is available, it's a data agent, so which I do really looking for how it has been give us that benefit. Okay, and then you have the flexibility with that creating of your agentic AI with SAP data, especially in the financial industry.
No, this is really great to see the direction where this is going, and again, like what I mentioned. Seeing the speed of innovation there. We start with a single agent. Now you have a multi-agent, and the connection to the fabric will be even easier going forward. So it's nice how all these things are coming together.
Yeah. So I think those are our customers. So who is looking for that the beyond the POC, right? So I think my advice would that be try to using there like the Azure AI Foundry, like what I showed to you. So this is a great tool, so you can play around, whatever things. So after that, when it comes to that orchestration, okay, put them together. I mean, you don't have to worry about that, okay? Your semantic kernel planner or the AutoGen, the proxy agent, so they do the auto orchestration based on user in play, and then let them run. And then for me, it's just waiting for the result. Okay, so what are the right decision based on the what have given them? So this is a way. And then from the production point of view, so Microsoft, so I think our semantic kernel is at the stable. Okay, now it's a GA 1.27.1. So you're using that the semantic kernel 1.27.1 with that Azure AI agent. So then you are able to scale up something like what I have been creating here. So that will be give you that our SAP on Azure team or the data AI team. So how you are able to the consolidating that better way of the running that the financial insight, particularly CFO Office, and then I give us that benefit of how the agent AI will helping that our SAP on Azure customer.
I mean, basically with the agentic AI, they are more complex to implement. However, you can tailor them to your very specific needs and also get much better result than just, I mean, throwing in a chat something, right?
You can have very specialized agents.
They are very specialized.
That's what we saw.
And more precise.
They produce much more exactly
with the results, right?
Yeah.
So I think like what you mentioned there, right? So I think Gordon, I mean, last year it's just like the API. Okay, so here's the API. So I giving that instruction. Okay, you give me the whether it can be predefined, a lot of the hallucination. Then we evolving that. Okay, enterprise data chat. So then this is where the RAG coming. Now it comes with that. We do have the solid foundation of how the agentic AI will be running, so within the Azure AI Foundry. And then now we having that better option. Now you want to scale, you want to running that agentic AI with the right frame. Then this is where the semantic kernel is coming. So then bit of like a difficult. However, once you know the structured way, so key message is that plug in, and then you need the planner. So you need the right tool. This is three combination. Once you haven't defined that right cases, like specific use cases. For me, our demo is actually forecasting. For us, it's like the forecasting expense compliances. And once you're managing that, data, okay, where the previous data, our semantic model is really deep, okay? I mean, 6,000, especially column, like wow, the sales order item, the raw data has got 183 columns, okay? Some of them actually garbage. So once you do that sort of like a right data grounding, and then the agent AI, so we'll be helping with that. A lot of decision making, better way of controlling that, particularly like this, okay? So you are able to giving us that very clear idea of how you need to be running that your query, then it give us that idea of, so which give us that next 2 quarter revenue in the best expected. So this is a really way how you are able to empowering that the AI with the Microsoft Agentic AI.
Fantastic.
Super.
CJ, right. This is really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to following you going forward to see how your scenario evolves. Obviously, how our offerings also evolve. But I'm sure that we'll have you again to see an even more complex, expanded version of the scenario that you are developing here.
So I think the Gordon Yoga probably our next episode would that be. So I think once we do, I mean among us, like whoever has got the Fabric tenant, able to access with a data agent. So then we kind of be running that live show. So we log onto the Azure AI agent. Then we try to connect with that Fabric, which I show as the live, which I don't have the access. And they're going to be really helpful for our viewer. So for my suggestion would that be, why not we try this one, okay, all together, probably next episode.
Let's do that.
So this is how powerful our customer can easily integrating that the Fabric semantic model, all other data source with the single agent. Then shows that how the agent AI will be able to helping that the SAP customers. That's going to be my proposal for our next episode.
I like that. Let's plan on this to have another episode then where we really focus on the Fabric integration there. Makes a lot of sense. Cool.
All right.
CJ, again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for walking us through this scenario. And we already have plans for the next episode. That's really great.
All right. I mean,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. So you have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.